Welcome to Shut the Front Door. I'm Nancy.
And I'm Hannah.
And this is our podcast about real estate, real life, a little bit of everything in between, food, drink, all of it. We like to have fun. So welcome, and thanks for tuning in.
Yep, and we have a special guest today. Both of our sponsors are actually in the house. In the house, in the room. And so we have not only John Riley, but we also have Frank Abdnour, Frank's Italian Beef, famous Frank's Italian Beef. We talk about it all the time. I'm hungry just talking about it.
Wow.
So welcome, Frank.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Excellent. Well, we were waiting for Hannah. Hannah's never late. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, no, she was getting her hair done. So we were all waiting upstairs, and we were all just having a really good conversation. Myself, Jack, Will, Frank, about food. It's like one of our favorite topics. I mean, I know real estate is also one of our favorite topics, but food is all. So, Frank, I don't know if you've listened actually to the podcast, but we like to start out the podcast by inquiring about what you had for dinner last night.
Okay.
It's weird, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this about me, but it's just it's a little quirk that I basically ask everybody I see, what'd you have for dinner last night? So, Frank, what'd you have for dinner last night?
I kind of had what I had in my refrigerator. I was rummaging through there and found some, I had some refried beans, some ground beef, some Mediterranean flatbread and lettuce and some and just made a big old wrap.
All right.
How about that?
Nice.
Yeah.
If rummaging is
Rummaging's
okay.
always.
My rummaging doesn't ever sound like that. That sounded to me like quite a sophisticated meal, but that's the difference with that.
Well,
You'll learn
because
that.
that's my background. Now, if I was going to go look at a house, I'm sure you would have
That's
all
right.
the Q's and I's dotted in that.
That did sound pretty high
I
end.
know.
So, Hannah, what did you have for dinner
Okay,
last
I
night?
went to Fish House last night. So we normally do date night on Thursday, but we had to move it around because Will has a little guys' night tonight. I didn't want him to miss that. So, being the wife that I am,
of course.
I offered that we could do date night last night. So we went to Fish House, and I had the cedar plank salmon, and I think they changed it because it was twice the size as what it normally is. So they must be
Wow.
getting fish from somewhere else right now. I don't know how that works, but you probably know something about that. So I've actually got leftovers. I'm probably gonna eat that tonight. It was really good.
What'd you get for a side? Do you know I have to ask?
Yeah, I always do the rice pilaf with like that white sauce that's it's like so good. And then their Cosmos. You guys, if you don't know about their Cosmos, I travel the world trying to find Cosmos that taste like their Cosmo, and I don't know what it is. I've asked them all.
We were in Florida.
I don't know.
And she says, this does not taste
I'll send
like
it back.
the Fish House. She will. She'll send it back. She goes, does that make me sound like...
I've stopped asking because I don't even care anymore.
Doesn't matter.
I just know I don't like it. I'm going to get wine, and so I'll get freaking La Marca over a bad, So anyway, so I had like 3 of those last night. They're so good. And then that was it.
I know
Did you have a
salad?
Caesar?
I even ate the bread.
Did you have a Caesar
I
salad?
did the house salad.
Okay.
That's good.
Well, you guys
What'd you have, Nan?
definitely did much better. First of all, I've just been super tired this week and super busy. So when I get home, I really don't feel like cooking. So I did take out of the freezer just some Italian sausages that we had that we're trying to eat out of our freezer. And so I texted Bruce. I had, every time I call Bruce now in the afternoon, he says, I kind of dread this call.
He knows.
He says, basically because you basically asked me what we're going to do for dinner, and I don't know, and I really don't care. So I said, well, okay. But so I texted him instead, and I said, we're going to have Italian sausage and macaroni and cheese. So basically Kraft macaroni and cheese
That's all right.
out of a
That's
box.
the best macaroni
And
and
it was
cheese,
so good. But if he had not cooked me dinner, I basically probably would have had a couple glasses of wine, and that's it. Because I was so tired. If
A liquid
someone
diet's so much easier, isn't it?
Oh my God. I was just so tired. I
just
just felt
is.
like if someone doesn't cook me dinner, I'm just not going to eat
It's not
dinner.
happening.
Okay. So anyway, there we go.
By the way, that mac and cheese, I have the gluten-free box of that Kraft. I'm going to try it tonight, and I'll let you know how it is.
It's good.
I'm going to have that with my salmon. So
And what is
classic.
it gluten-free made out of? Do you know?
no idea. I mean, it's probably a rice pasta or something. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
But
So that is how we start our show every
All
week.
right.
Yeah. And then move on to a little bit of real estate. Although we've got, apparently we're going to bring in whole new topics with Frank today.
that's right. Frank is actually.
Well, I don't know. I've had a lot of real
He's
estate
got
in the
some-
last
You have.
3 years.
Yep. So Frank, tell
Thanks
us
to Hannah.
about all the moves you've had, the different sales you've accomplished this year
Gosh,
yourself.
I think it
in the last
started
year.
in what?
Or 2 years.
22 maybe. And my wife had been ill, and she had passed away after a long illness. So, and I had this, we lived in a big old house, and I just needed to, it was time to downsize. My kids both moved out. So I got a hold of Hannah through a friend of mine who she sold their house. Said, "Oh, you got Hannah's the best," and I'm a little skeptical because everybody's the best. Right? Everybody's the best. Well, good Lord, did she live up to the expectations? So she sold my house and bought the house that I'm currently in. And then my daughter needed a condo. She found a condo, and what a market! It's hard to, but all in my price range, all in my kids' price range. But my house, to buy the house that I'm in right now she was like, "Oh, you're never going to get this." There were 7 offers, 8. I don't know.
Wait, who said you're never going to get this?
Me. I was like, "I'm never going to get this."
Who did not say you weren't going to get it?
Who said, "No, do you want the house?" And I said, "I do." She said, "Then you're going to get it."
Let me work my
That's what we
magic.
said.
And she did. She whipped out that wand, and I thought I was in a Harry Potter movie, and man. The next thing I know, she calls me 3 hours later and said, you own that house. I'm like, wow. I couldn't believe it. And it was awesome. Great, most painless transition I ever had.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they sold my house, and that was very, very easy, real painless. And then, so I get moved in. My daughter then wanted to get out of her apartment because they were so ungodly expensive. And so she found her a beautiful condo. My daughter is not one to own a home. Maintenance is not her strong point. So a condo was perfect for her. She found her a great condo in her price range. And her mortgage is less than her rent with real estate taxes and insurance. So.
People
Crazy.
can buy,
We
man.
talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
That's
We were
you're
talking
living
about it
proof of
upstairs,
that.
just-
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't, a lot of kids, I get it. We were talking about that. It's not a priority. Kids don't want to own, but they don't see the value in owning. And it's if you just have to look a little beyond, right in front of you. So then my son actually wanted to buy a home, and his budget was a little lower, but God love her, he just found this house, and boom, I couldn't believe
Well,
it.
when I saw him today and you weren't here, I was like, "Hey, so did you find a house for your son?" And he goes, "Yeah, we're under contract. So when you
Right.
close, end of month."
Yeah.
And so we were talking a little bit about was it multiple
Oh,
multiple
yeah,
offers?
sure
Yeah,
was.
it was.
We've got some people in our office that wrote against us,
Yeah.
and so then I did not announce to anybody that we got that house under contract.
All right, well, tell us
And
your-
then eventually one of them called up and said, "What offer did you write?" Because they saw I posted, I post that stuff
Yeah.
sometimes. And she's like, "It was you, wasn't it?" And then the other girl on our team said her client liked it. I didn't tell you this. Her client liked it. It was the gal that, remember we got there and someone was on my
Yes.
team, or we were leaving. Someone on my team had just gotten there.
Yeah.
And she said, "My client wanted that house too," but I told her, "Well, if my
Hannah's
boss," she goes, "if Hannah's writing an offer, we're not going to get it."
Okay,
so they
so-
decided not to write an offer,
Oh,
Frank.
there you
I was
go,
like,
Hannah.
well, it's not
All
meant
right.
to be for them.
So as a
But
realtor,
it's funny.
I want to know, and I talk to you about this a lot, but when people are listening to this, so how do you do it? Like, what are how do you,
Yeah.
because this is not the first time that we've had this conversation where you are writing multiple offers, advising your clients, and I'll admit, I'm not quite there. It's like closing a deal and knowing how to guide your clients. You've been in the business much longer than me, so tell us some things that will help us.
You have to know your client, and you have to know when you're taking them through a home, because the fact is, I'll have them in the discussion where we know we're probably not going to even end up writing because we're at the max budget. I mean, yeah, terms can win. They're just as important. Price and terms, both of those things matter, but you just have to know if it's going to be a right fit for your client. And half the time I've already weeded out if it's even an option that we're even going to go to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so then you're either writing an offer knowing that you can have skin in the game. And you also have to be really good at knowing, like, what are they going to be comfortable with? Like Frank, he gets things. He's seen a lot of things. He's, not everybody can do the no offer or no inspections and different things. And every house is different.
Right.
But so you really have to know your people that you're working with. But then obviously you have to learn the tricks. So for instance, I have one right now. I don't know if we're going to get it, so I'll have to report back. But a house that goes on the market It was on 45 minutes. I booked a showing last night. We wrote an offer. I can't say what it is, darn it, because it's obviously it's
Right.
highly competitive, multiple offers. But basically, even in this one, no one's going to hear this, so I guess it doesn't even matter. I mean, by the time it'll be accepted by then, or not. In this case, like, we're at a point where we've already maxed out. We've gone up 25,000 over asking. We were the first offer, but I already knew the writing on the wall. Dunlap School District Ranch, beautiful addition, move-in ready. It's a done deal. Someone's finished basement, everything's great. So we did 25,000 over asking, and no inspections, all that stuff. They were all comfortable with it. But the other thing is, beyond the 25,000, we're gonna probably not appraise, and I don't want them. They could do the whole, like, we'll do an escalation clause, meaning we did that with you. We did have to use it with yours, right? So we could do that. But then I said, now we're also not gonna appraise beyond 300.
Yeah.
Oops, I just told them. It doesn't matter. It'll be sold by then.
Okay.
But I said, we'll have to also say we're going to pay the difference. If it doesn't appraise, now you're bringing more money.
Okay.
Nobody likes how that feels.
So you're just prepping your clients.
So here's what I did today. I was like, you guys can also just pay my commission. You're basically upping it by X amount.
Yeah.
But it's going to be it's basically giving the seller that much more money.
Right.
Because that money we can move around. So you're upping your bid by this much, but it won't have an appraisal issue because it's in the closing cost, because it's in the commission. So that was like a whole nother, because again, that client didn't want to be way over the appraisal amount, but he was comfortable moving the money. So you just have to get creative.
Yeah.
So let me ask Frank a
think of
question,
these
because
things.
obviously he's been through this. I don't know how many times you've actually done it without inspections. How many times have you bought a house and then waived inspections? Are there any?
I think twice. I've only owned 2 homes in my life.
Okay, because as a buyer, I've run into a lot of buyers who, oh no, I don't want to waive inspections.
It depends on the house.
It depends on the house.
Always the house.
But
yeah.
How did you feel doing
Well,
that?
I've owned a restaurant. I've been in the restaurant business for 40 years. I have an incredible, deep group of friends. I have carpenters, electricians, plumbers. I am very fortunate that I have resources that if there's a problem, and I've done enough work and fixed problems at restaurants. When you go into a house, I can look, and Hannah's great about, well, let's look at the sump pump, and so
trusting
I was
her
in a
too
little
is
different situation just because of my experience of building a restaurant from the ground up, owning buildings, owning restaurants that were in different locations that had multiple problems along the 30 years.
So you weren't afraid of taking care of those things.
And to me, I look at it as a problem, as an opportunity.
Right.
All right, it may need a roof, or it may need this. Well, all right, bargain on the price, because I got a roofer who I know will come in and do it for this amount.
Sure. So then negotiation starts.
A little bit more advantage to me because I have a bunch of resources.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Inspections never bother. Unless the foundation is falling apart.
Right.
We look at the big stuff.
And
We know we're looking
you want
for.
to look for the bones.
Right.
If the bones are good, everything else is cosmetic.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true.
And if you have a client, for instance, that doesn't have the means, the ability, whatever, the resources,
It's a
they're
different
not a good
story.
fit.
Right.
And then that's where you and I have to protect them,
Right.
right? Like, we have to almost help them think about those things, because
Right.
sometimes they don't want to.
Well, I
So
don't.
anyway,
I don't like writing offers against you. Too. I don't actually know.
You have to have faith in the person you deal with.
Exactly.
Because if you don't have faith in and I have almost blind faith in Hannah.
That's good.
Which, almost that can be to a fault, but I trust her to death. I'm putting my kids' livelihoods in her hands.
Yeah.
And that's a big task.
Well,
that is a big task.
We appreciate that, because we've talked about this in the past. Is like, we put our heart and soul in it too. It's not just we're going around showing homes. Like, we want to make sure that our clients are, like you, are taking care of your son. Where you're not just getting into a house and we're just done with you.
Right.
Like, that is not how we operate. That's not how our team operates. And it's a huge responsibility, but but it's nice to hear that. She's obviously done a lot of work for you, so you do have that blind faith in her.
And it's been a short period of time. Honestly, it's only been 4 years probably, and that's not I've got people I've known 40 years that I'm still suspect of at times.
Well, that's something to aspire to. That we have clients that do trust us like that. That's what our ultimate goal is. Really.
Yeah, no, and you got to be able to, I just think Hannah's good at what she does.
Yes.
And I think she does have her client's best interests at in her heart. I really believe that. I mean,
does.
I really wouldn't deal with her if she didn't. I didn't feel that. Yeah.
I love that.
You guys.
That's awesome.
The thing is, you just have to be yourself. You have to be real,
Yeah.
and then people know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The truth comes out. I mean,
Yeah. No,
you
for
know,
sure.
what your intentions are, and they know when you. So
Do you no? So we usually do a shut the front door moment where it's like, and maybe you're shut the front. We're gonna have you do a shut the front door moment. If
yeah, you
something
gotta
comes
come up with one. Yeah,
is
you
it?
think of
Yeah.
one.
So shut the front door moment is for us has to do with real estate, but yours maybe could be restaurant
Should I
related.
give one?
yeah.
I have
So
one
give
off the
us-
top
yeah,
of my
give us
and
one.
then he can maybe think of
Okay.
something because it could be restaurant. It could be
Yeah.
It's
like,
like, shut
something
the
that
front
happened to
door.
you in the restaurant, but like it
lots
doesn't
of
have to.
them, yeah.
So here's one that I had the other day because not the other day. I'll back up. Yesterday I had an inspection, for instance, and the inspection, this is not so much the shut the front door story, but I'll just tell you some of the things we see. And it was a flip house, and there was a pipe in the plumbing that was just like sticking up in the utility room, and the inspector goes there and starts turning the water. You know, they run the water a couple hours, like,
Right.
you know. They're good. They do that stuff. He goes back down to check it, and somebody had not capped. This plumbing was going nowhere, so it's pouring water into the basement.
Oh,
I have a picture of it. I showed it to Will, and I'm like, I have never seen anything like this. The whole plumbing, the whole stack is like botched up plumbing because it's a flipper that I'm just
Doesn't
gonna
know what
say
he's
I'm
doing.
never gonna show one of his properties
Right.
again. I've never seen his work. After that, I do not trust a thing that he'll touch. Anyway, but you see this stuff and like. Absolutely crazy things could go on because what if someone didn't do an inspection on that house
Right.
and their
Right.
realtor didn't know what they were
Right.
looking for? Now, granted, this was a sight unseen for me. I did not get to see the house. I was out of town last week. My client was getting ready to go into multiple offer, and he was a cash buyer, so he won. But I was like, please do the inspection because I wasn't there to see it.
Yeah.
So glad you did
Yeah.
the inspection. So now we're getting out of it. That's a whole nother story.
Okay.
But you had a walkthrough the other day, and there was a water issue that wasn't caught. Right? Final walkthrough. You did it for
Oh yes,
somebody.
I did my final. Yeah.
And
I
so
was
then,
just doing a
so then
favor
we were
for
talking
somebody.
about things that happen at final walkthroughs. Okay, so then this is my shut the front door story. Okay, one of my very first deals I did. We're doing the final walkthrough. These people had like 5 or 6 kids, and big house, right? I'm trying to keep up with the wife and the kids. I'm like
Right.
trying to keep all the. They're
That is
younger.
a lot because they're
The
running around.
husband, right? The husband, meanwhile, goes off on his own. You have to be very careful not to let people just disperse because you
Right.
never know what they're going to do. I'm always nervous about that because
Like
I've seen
things,
things happen. And so he disappears. Whatever. All of a sudden, I'm in the basement with the wife and the kids. All of a sudden, this water starts pouring down through the ceiling.
What?
Oh no.
Okay, like buckets of water pouring
What?
down. He apparently filled the jacuzzi tub to check it, and when it went to drain, there was a massive leak in this old jacuzzi tub in the primary bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
It started pouring, and I'm just watching this water, and I'm like, literally, this is my second house I've sold. And I'm like, this is not happening. And we're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So anyway, that all got resolved, obviously, plumbers, da-da-da. But those are the types of things
But
you
my
deal with, and you're like,
question
what do you do now?
To that is,
Yeah.
as a walkthrough, you want to
Yeah.
make sure things are working. So did
do.
that buyer have the right to do that?
Technically, you do got to run the water. You can do all this. Now, the whole thing is just such a freak
Yeah.
such
Yeah.
a freak thing because that house had an inspection. That was way before we didn't
Right.
have
Okay.
inspections.
Wow.
And so it was really bizarre. And then that happened. And so just things can happen. And it was a really old house, by the way. Like this was like an old farmhouse, big 2-story.
So I call
who
Hannah
knows?
a
I don't
lot
know.
about this. Okay. And I say, well, how did that resolve? Like, do you
Yeah.
remember how it resolved? Because I like
Well,
to
we
hear
de- we,
how
de-
it
we
resolved.
definitely got because it was probably supposed to close within 48 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and so I might have done it earlier then. Who knows? Because I was new. But there was they figured a resolve. Either it was a giant credit or they did get the leak fixed. We got it resolved. But anyway, and then I had another one that was really ridiculous. That's just kind of these things happen. I was doing a showing, and it was like back-to-back showings, and I leave. And again, I was with the kids and the wife. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, ladies, be careful
Yeah.
because some women are very insecure about their husbands and their whole situation, and you got to stick by the wife.
Yeah.
Okay. If they're
Right.
or
I get that.
or
I
you
get where
just
you're
do.
going. Yeah.
You just
And
do.
don't go off with the husband just to
Yeah.
show
I have a shut the
Right.
front door story about a past job that I had where the husband side texted me about the work stuff, but like, why did he go out of the group chat? Well, then she fired me. She was pissed at me. She accused me of,
Yeah.
and I was like, whoa. I was responding about a sale that he asked me about, and I just assumed you were in surgery because they were both doctors. Anyway, know your audience. Okay.
Whoa,
So I always
okay.
stick with the wife. That's the point.
Okay, good.
You never know what you're going to get here.
That's smart-
Stick with the
smart
wife
advice, good
unless you
advice.
get close enough with all of them that everyone's cool, right? Know your audience.
Holy crap.
So anyways, I'm with the wife and
Unless
the
you're a
kids.
guy, right?
The
Unless you're a male agent.
Then I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, unless you're, which I hope there's guys listening, but anyway. Actually, Ryan Dice, shout out to Ryan Dice, he listens.
Even though we
So,
did say,
Ryan,
"Let's
read the
go
room."
Background.
Know your
background
audience.
stuff.
That's
Cool.
right.
I
But
really appreciated it, right?
So anyway, oh yeah, because the husband could get equally as uptight about that. So the husband disappears. He goes and he clogs the toilet. I did not know this. The house, the water was off. I had no clue he was using the bathroom. So we leave, and then like an hour later, I get a call from the listing agent, and he's like, "Hey, so the agent that went in right after you said that the house smelled so bad that the people wouldn't even go tour it. They turned around and left." And he goes, "What did you guys do in there?" And I was like, "You know what?
Oh, God.
I was mortified, and so I knew the husband had been off on his own, and we were with the kids, and they did. So I knew it had to be him, right? Because he kind of just like
Yeah.
disappeared for a while, and so I sent the listing agent a $25 Starbucks gift card and asked them to please send it to the seller with an apology. I was mortified. These are just things you just whatever.
Which you don't actually
don't
expect.
think about it.
Oh my gosh,
So
those
anyway.
are so funny.
Those are some stories.
I
for
don't
you.
have any this week. I'm going to let you carry that. But do you have any shut the
let's-
front door
yeah.
moments
What do
about?
you got
Man,
some
I
stuff
got
in there, I'm
lots of
sure.
them. But
Oh,
I
excellent.
mean, and when I owned the Spotted Cow, I owned that for over 30 years, and I got some unbelievable stories. But one of them was, I'm working one day, and all these gentlemen came in. They're all in suits and ties, black suits, real professional. They came in, I don't know, on a Monday. And I thought, oh, great, there was like 10 of them. You know, it was
Good
money,
business.
you know?
That's
Sure.
right.
So the next day they come back in, and I'm thinking, wow, it must be a conference or something. They come, or they really
They
like
liked
food.
us? Yeah, right.
So and the third day they come back, and I go out and I go, everything okay, guys? They wanted to talk to the owner, and I said, yeah, you guys all right? And he goes, yeah, my name's blah blah blah. I'm with the Secret Service. I go, what? And he goes, yeah, we're doing a scan. The Vice President of the United States is coming to Peoria, and he wants to come here. I'm like,
Stop.
get out. Now put your politics, regardless of who this, you know, it was Joe Biden at the time.
Okay.
And I didn't care, you know, I mean, it's a vice president, you know, I was floored. I'm thinking these guys were, you know, had a problem with their sandwich.
Right. And they were just, were they scoping the place
They
out?
were, and when they came, and then I agreed to, of course, you know, my wife and I were so excited to have, you know, it was notoriety. I knew it was a cash cow, you know, we were getting a lot of publicity out of this. So they came in the next day, and how they oversee your store to make lock it down and secure your building was unbelievable. With the bomb sniffing dogs.
Oh my gosh.
And they came and spent one whole day. Every one of my employees, I had to give them their names, and they did the background checks. I had one poor kid who they wouldn't let him. He had a criminal record.
Oh.
I said, God, he's been working for me for 3 years. So he couldn't come that
Oh,
day.
bummer for him.
It was in the front of the house. If you worked the counter, you had to stay in the front. You couldn't go in the back.
Okay. Oh
If you worked in the kitchen, you had to stay there. You couldn't interchange. And they came and swept this store. My phone, I mean, they did an unbelievable amount. I mean, it just shows you, if they want to find out something about
Right.
you, they knew everything about everyone in that building within 8 hours.
And so, was it the
That's
next day
nuts.
that Joe Biden
He
showed
came
up?
the next day, and my kids were young. I remember Noah was probably, I don't know, 10 years old. And all of a sudden, all these SUVs roll into our parking lot. And we were on Glen and Sheridan, and at Notre Dame, at the Notre Dame track, the walking track, There's guys set up with machine guns, snipers all over there, on the roofs, all around. A guy pulls up in an SUV, backs in, lets the lift gate down on the truck, and there's a big gun in there. You know,
Oh my God, are you
Noah was awed. You know, he was amazed. Yeah.
Were other patrons allowed in the restaurant?
Well, I was allowed to have so many patrons in, and we filled it up with, you know, just friends of mine or people.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, here comes the vice president's parade. You know, he comes with his car and whips in the lot and came, and he was only scheduled for 45 minutes. And here's one of the things I'll say. I asked the liaison, the young girls, I go, all right, what are the boundaries? What are the questions I can't, and she said, you can ask whatever you want. And this was right at the time when the national health care was coming, and I was concerned. How, as an employer, a small business, how am I going to navigate through this? And my wife was really good. She did all the books. She actually was the brains of my operation. I just was there to do the work. But we had all these questions, and we asked some hard questions. And what a great politician. He never answered one of them. After his answer, I'm like, what did he just say?
Wait, what?
Know what he
That was like, yeah.
And it was a very bipartisan group. We had a lot of, you know, like Ray LaHood came and the vice president.
Okay,
And then,
okay.
and part of the problem afterwards, we got some of the most. It was heartbreaking, some of the emails we got.
What?
Because how would you let this gentleman in your store?
Oh, dear.
Blah,
So it
all
became
this
political
nonsense.
when
And
it's
I'm
just like, okay.
This is the vice president of the United States.
right.
But it was quite a moment. And we had, you know, and I was fortunate back then. We had celebrities come in. I would get a call. I don't know if you know who Dee Snider is. Twisted Sister.
yeah.
I do
Well,
know
Dee
that.
Snider was doing a tour, and he came into Peoria. He was becoming a
He was
talk
down
show
at the radio
host.
station.
Yeah,
he
he
was
wanted
down
to be
at
a
radio
talk show
station.
host, right?
Yeah.
He was promoting his talk show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he wanted to. Somehow
meet
they
him
said, all right, we're going to take you to the Spotted Cow. It's place, local place. He came in. He was so much not what I imagined Dee Snider, smart, articulate, well-read.
Yeah.
This guy, and he came and signed autographs, spent an hour at the store. I mean, it
Very
was
cool.
odd. Oh, I was odd. I mean, we were so fortunate to have people who would call and pop in. And, you know, we had some at the Civic Center, they would have plays, and some of the theater people would wanted ice cream or something. They'd bring in these. I had no idea who they were.
That's
I actually
so
have a
fun.
Dee Snider story. Now, this I don't want to complicate this, but John Riley and I work on the radio in the morning. John Riley sitting next to me. John Jack is John's son, but Dee Snider was in town, and they were using our radio facilities to do that kind of work. Okay, so a bunch of the folks from our radio station and Dee Snider went to, I think it was Sugar. They went to some restaurant downtown. And so, our radio station picked up the tab, you know, put the tip down and whatever, and they were leaving. And John says, Dee Snider actually then tipped again. And he's like, no, we've got this. He goes, do you understand that if I walk out of here and I don't tip, I will be lambasted online that I was some cheapskate who came to Peoria
That's so true.
and left some bad tip. And so John Riley has told that story forever. And he's like, it was just like, oh man, that kind of life would a little bit suck.
Yeah.
That you're constantly under the microscope.
all the time. Yeah.
I feel like that. I mean, I'm not quite a celebrity, but I just think with social media, everyone's watching. You never know. You have to assume that all of your potential clients are looking you up.
Yeah.
Right.
So you do kind of have to, you know, if you want to have a name for yourself, you do have to treat people well. You never know who's going to come across your, you know, who's going to call Zillow or whatever. I mean, seriously, I just have this. I always
true.
think that. I mean, yes, I always want to treat people well, regardless.
Well, so,
but
okay.
you never know when your paths are going to cross again.
You put out there like social media posts that are just inspiring. So I've decided to put out social media posts that are just, if I can get you to crack a smile a little bit.
Yes.
So they might be a little, so I'm just warning people that I'm going to put that out there. They're not going to be as inspiring as Hannah's, but they might
that's
be able
not
to
true.
crack a smile. That's kind of my...
They will make you smile. And that
anyway.
song has good lyrics too.
So yeah, so I have this
We're all
song.
gonna know it by heart.
You are, because it's gonna be basically my, what is it called? My,
It's like your trademark song, like
but
your.
when you walk into a room or a stadium, it's like
Yeah.
your,
Oh, your entry
My
song. What do you
anthem.
call it?
My anthem.
What do they call that though? Not your entry song. It's like if you're gonna be in the WWE and you're coming in. What do you call
Hannah
that?
and I
Your anthem song. I don't
have
know.
brain fog because we are
We
in
have
menopause.
massive brain
So
fog.
that's why we can't come
Whoa,
up
get
with
it
the
right. Perimenopause and menopause.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay.
There's
So
a big
anyway.
difference, isn't there?
Come on, Jack. You got to get the conversation away from this one. Let's navigate
Reel
out
it
of
in,
here.
girls. Reel it in.
So I think, okay, we've talked food. Okay, well, cheers, because we're drinking our drinks.
Right, cheers.
So actually, Frank, we told him that we usually have cocktails during our podcast.
Yeah.
And what did you bring, Mr. Frank?
I'm a Scotch drinker. I enjoy my Scotch, and I just brought a bottle of Johnny Walker Black Label.
So when I talk to people who say they are Scotch drinkers, and you go into their house and you actually see that they have maybe a little bar,
Yeah.
like how many bottles of Scotch do you have that you collect?
Oh gosh, there's some I won't open, right?
Okay,
And I
okay.
probably have 5 or 6 bottles
Okay,
that I don't open.
that's actually pretty low. Like,
Yeah, it is low.
yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
Okay,
'cause
but you like the Scotch.
I
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Okay, so Hannah had some pointed questions, and I was all in. I don't know how comfortable you're going to be, Frank, but I always find this interesting. Like, you're a little bit. I mean, I don't know.
Older. I'm 67.
Okay,
No,
so you're
you're
older than
not.
me.
Yeah.
You're 57.
But
I wish.
But here's what I think. I think
Oh,
about
I thought you were like Will's
So
age.
if Bruce
No.
wasn't.
You were in my range, I thought.
No, I'm old.
taken. I'm sorry.
older.
But
But
you were,
I've
I
had
thought you were in the
this
range.
conversation
Yeah,
with
no.
people like
Age is
because
just
I've
a
been
number.
married for whatever. You were married for so long,
Yeah.
but like if I were ever in that situation where I would have to date again, I just think, gosh, I don't know if I could do it. Like it would just be really hard. I mean, you've been with one person for so long, and then you're on your own for so long, and then you've kind of find your ways. But you have now been brave and are venturing out into the dating scene.
Yeah.
And I want to know what it is all like as a 67-year-old to get out in the dating scene.
It is the most bizarre thing.
It is?
It's just different.
Are you like on Tinder or
No, nothing. No. I'm old. I'm old school. I don't do dating. No, if
You
I
don't do
meet somebody,
dating apps?
I'll strike up a conversation and just go direct that route. I don't do any of that business. No, it's just. But that's for me. I'm not comfortable with.
Do your friends, are your friends constantly like, Frank, we met somebody we know, we think that we would like to...
It's hard because so many of my friends were part of my married life. And
Yes.
after my wife passed away,
Yeah.
they're all very guarded about that because she was an incredible individual, and,
Yeah.
and it's hard because when you date, most people are divorced. Well, there's a big difference between a divorced and a wit.
Yes.
I've gone out with some women who have not, talked about the horrors of their marriage, and and I can't relate to that.
Right.
It's a weird thing when you can't relate to badgering a spouse, or having.
That's a great point.
And and then it makes it a real uncomfortable and real awkward at times because what do you say? I can't jump on a bandwagon. I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't have those issues.
And you also can't start raving about your amazing wife.
No.
I
You
mean,
don't want to
yeah.
do that.
So that would be a rock and a hard place.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so it's been different, and I've kind of scaled it. And
So do you have shut the front door moments about dating?
No, I haven't really. No.
But you're a good storyteller, so you could probably tell
you
us a
said
good
a couple.
story.
I heard you say
I
a
did
couple.
go out with this one woman on
Yeah.
our second encounter. It was like, well, where are we going with this? I said,
Wait, what?
yeah.
Wait, second date?
First one was for a cup of coffee. Second one we went out and had a beer at a bar.
Second one's like,
And
where are we
going
taking
with
this
it?
relationship?
Like you haven't even eaten dinner yet
No, and
together?
it was, what are we doing? Where are we going? What's this? And I said, you know what? I'm going home. That's where we're going. I don't know where you're going, but I'm going home.
You were
Did
like,
you end it right
said
there?
that?
I did. It was said, I'm going home. And then a constant text, and I was like, I gotta end.
Oh dear.
I
So
do-
she was needy.
Yeah,
She
a
wanted
little bit,
somebody.
yeah.
She wanted somebody.
And then you got to deal with other
Man.
people's. Everybody's got baggage, right?
Correct.
I got
We all
2
do.
kids.
Everyone does, yeah.
I got but and the hard part is, I got back in the restaurant business, and when you own a restaurant. You already have a spouse. Your restaurant. I remember when I married my wife. We got married. We were young. I was 8 years in this business, and I said, and she understood it. She got it. You
Yeah.
know, she wasn't real needy. My wife was very strong, independent. You have to find people if you're in the restaurant business or any self-employment.
Yeah.
Real
Or
estate,
sale- I
whatever.
mean,
You gotta be
sales or
gone.
restaurant.
There's
Yeah.
things that it's demanding,
Yep.
but it's rewarding all at the same time. And to find somebody who gets that is a challenge.
So can we use this podcast to try to find you a date?
I have to
Yeah.
piggyback off of what he just said because it's spot on.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got divorced and I was like, who am I,
Mm-hmm.
first of all? If you don't figure that out,
Right.
it's going to go nowhere. So if you didn't know who you were, you got to figure that out first. And then I'm like, well, what is it like dating? I didn't date, And so then I started dating these guys and I'd see like, I'm learning, right? So I'm making my list of what I like and I don't like, or what I'll tolerate and what I won't.
Right.
Like, what are the deal breakers? But what I found was a couple of guys that I dated, and I was like, that was when I was starting my real estate business. And so
Yeah.
I was just trying to make a name for myself
Right.
and trying to like learn everything. I mean, it was so stressful. And then you throw COVID into everything.
Oh man.
Oh,
yeah.
Which was the
Right.
biggest. I mean, my business exploded during COVID, as so many of us did. But I was late to a lot of dinners or missed a lot of dinners. And you know what that taught me? Men are so insecure.
Oh,
and so
terrible.
then I'm
Yeah.
like, got to the point where I'm like dreading even having to show up for dinner because they're so insecure about our relationship or how it made them feel. I'm like, is this like men really are like this? Like, 'cause I really didn't date. I didn't know that. And not all men, but those guys were.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of those where it was just like trying to like walk on eggshell. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm trying to build this business.
Right.
So then when I started talking to guys, I'd be like, sounds like there were so many. There weren't that many. But, as I'm
Here's the
having
deal.
these
Yeah.
conversations, because you have a lot more conversations.
Yeah.
And they may not go anywhere. But it was like, look, if you're going to be in my life, here's how it goes. God, my kids, my job, you're number 4.
Oh dear. Okay.
That's just the truth.
Right.
If we're dating and then like if I have girlfriends that I hardly see, they're kind of going to get ahead of you because I got to work around their, and they're lifelong friends or whatever.
Right.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so then it really narrows down your pool of
Yeah.
people that can handle that kind of life and like be okay with your life you're not just gonna be able to show up at 6:00 dinner or whatever, you have to be
So-
flexible, at least for who I was gonna be with.
Well, yeah.
So what I did, I married another realtor who lived the
and that
same
is
life.
like the perfect
That's right.
And that was the one
That's
person
who's a
that understood me.
workaholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right, so Frank, because I like to ask questions.
You
so,
bet.
so are you looking for somebody to share your life with? I mean, obviously you had a wonderful marriage. Your wife sounds like a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Like,
It's more.
is it get lonely to be by yourself?
times. I have an incredible social group.
And you have your
circle.
kids,
I've
right?
got 2 kids that are 30 and 28. And they're pretty well on their own in that, and I do have a broad social circle, big, because being in the restaurant business, you see
Yeah.
everybody, and I have a lot of friends who own restaurants, so and it's a different world in itself, But I don't, what? Right now at this stage of my life, what comes along is going to come along. I quit trying to find. Try to fill voids. You just, find somebody to want to go out and have dinner and all that. Yeah, it's great, but you see where it goes.
yeah.
If you could order it up, what would be the
If we were making criteria like we
if
do
we
with the
could
house
order it
for a
up.
woman, what are your
It would
must-haves?
be a medium rare ribeye. Medium rare ribeye. Leaning on the rare side, you gotta have that. So.
like obviously independent, have to be an independent woman who is
secure
not
with
needy.
themselves, and can go out and appreciate the fact that your dinner's going to get interrupted every 10 minutes because somebody sees you that knows you,
Sure.
and they're going to come over, whether it be a customer.
Because you're a little bit of a local celebrity,
Oh, I don't
to be
know
quite
about
honest.
that.
Just a
I don't know.
little bit. I was
I
going to
don't know.
say,
Yeah.
of like everyone that I've met, because I met you through real estate. We didn't,
Yes.
that's how
No,
we met.
right.
And you are like the common denominator with so many people. Everybody knows you.
I'm very
Everybody knows
fortunate.
you.
Yeah, this community has been
It's so fun.
incredibly well.
Well, here's
Yeah.
the deal. I didn't really know Frank. I knew of Frank,
Right.
but I knew that you had talked to Frank, about Frank, about helping him buy his houses.
Yep.
At that time, I wasn't a realtor, but then I was a realtor, and I saw him at CXT Coffee.
Yep.
And I introduced myself because and we sent. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah.
And we sent you a picture.
And then I was
We
jealous.
did,
Then I had FOMO.
Because I was like, wait, that's Frank, and I think I'm going to say something.
What did I
like,
say to
hey,
you when you told me that? I said,
know.
"Pause off, Nancy. It's my
Get
friend."
your hands off Frank.
That's right. These are the friendship boundaries, right?
That's right.
Don't border those.
All right, so just okay, not to be okay. So independent, just somebody fun who can just hang, chill, whatever.
Yeah, just they gotta, I don't know, who knows. And then I'm a fountain of dysfunction. Somebody who can put up with this.
Aren't we all?
Yeah,
Aren't we all?
seriously.
Yeah.
Amen.
Like
But
you
I
said,
am
we got
learning
that
to
baggage.
be really comfortable with who I am and not, and deal breakers too. I went out with this gal who was wonderful, nice, but smoked. I can't. I'm not.
Okay.
I,
Oh, yeah.
Same.
I'm
Deal
real big
breaker.
on that.
Yeah.
In excess of anything, I don't get into too much.
Right. All right, that's fair. He's putting it out there.
Yeah.
He's got
At this stage of my life too, I only have so many trips around the sun left, right? So let's not beat around the bush.
Right. Do you have a chance to meet other women though? Like, do you actually? Is there much opportunity to meet? Like,
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah?
But I just get wrapped up sometimes in my own world, but yeah, there's opportunities all over. It's just,
Okay.
And it's just where you want to set your bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had any people yet that you're like, you could? Okay, so maybe you weren't putting the effort in or whatever, and maybe you haven't dated enough that this has happened.
And I have not dated
But
all that much.
yeah. But then that you look back and you're like, oh, I should have actually taken the time to pursue that person. Have you had that happen
I
yet?
have had that, yeah.
Yeah.
And it just
you can still pursue that person.
Yeah.
Well, what happened?
I did, and we did it again, and and then all of a sudden, I was the one who was like, "Man, this is no."
Maybe no. Okay.
I don't know what happened. The light went up. Something. It did not.
So maybe your
work.
initial instinct
And I just was like, I
not work.
couldn't wait to get out of this bar quick
Yeah.
enough.
Okay.
Oh, that's
It was
That's
really
fair.
odd, because I had all these expectations. Oh, we're going to do this again after a year and a half.
Oh.
We're going to get together, and then we went out, and it was like, whoa, the conversation was going. And when I can't make conversation, something's wrong, because I can talk to them.
yeah.
Share.
I was going to say, you are very
I-
easy to make conversation
yeah, I'm
with.
pretty
I'm going to say it, folks. Hey, ladies, if you can't make conversation with Frank, you're
There's
out.
something wrong.
Yeah.
You need to go
You
talk
are
to your
out.
therapist or get your money back
Seriously.
from your therapist.
And Peoria is a funny town. Everybody's, 2 degrees away? There are no 7 degrees of separation in Peoria. It's about 2 degrees.
I mean, I told you that story because I said, we were talking on the phone recently. I said, Will, my husband, him and one of my other good friends, John Abraham, we'll have him on here sometime.
Yeah, we
John,
will.
He's everyone knows John,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
and so
everybody.
John and Will had dated some of the same women, right? I'm like the we'll call it the buyer pool,
Yeah.
the inventory. It's low inventory
It's
in
low.
Peoria on all fronts. Like it cracked me up.
Well, and here's the
when-
thing. I'm gonna second that. But 30 years ago, when I moved here after college, I was like, I cannot find anybody to date in Peoria. Like, I would go on these dates and be like,
awful for me.
what was that? Like, this is.
Yeah.
And then I got set up on the blind date with Bruce, and then, thank goodness. So I don't know, but
And the magic hit, right?
and we've been married for many, many years. But again, he puts up with me. I think I'm the hard one, Frank.
I do have to say this though. I worked with Will on deals for quite a few years and I'm not kidding you when I say it never crossed my mind that we even had a thing or a connection.
So what changed?
I never met him face to face. We were doing but so it was like, yeah, we did a lot of
what
phone
flipped the switch, sister?
that we met face to face, and even then we did a group outing. I still had him in the business category. I didn't. In fact, he'll tell you the story. I was trying to set one of my friends by him at all. We did axe throwing with a group. Then we all went to some play at Jimmy's or whatever, and I'm like moving to try to make sure I'm facilitating them sitting by each other. Meanwhile, he was trying to get by me, the age-old story. I was trying to get to you, and you were moving around,
Oh, he had
And
his eyes set on you, girl.
Apparently he did. And I didn't even remember when we got in there and I had all the girls and he had the guys. It was realtors from competing teams, so that was a whole other story. We got them together and our bosses probably crapped their pants when they saw that on social media. But anyways, I don't remember that he paid for just me and none of the other girls. And I didn't even realize. Like, I was trying to help the girl, like getting everyone, keeping. But all that to say, we worked together for years. It never crossed my mind that there'd be a connection. And then even when we met, so you never know who could be right under your nose
Absolutely.
that you're, working around or seeing, in a group.
No.
But then it's so much better when you already know the person, because then you already know you already know each other in some capacity. So it's like she already knows what she's getting. I don't have to show off. I don't have to be. I just get to be myself. So then it works out better. So you never know that you could already know the person.
I know.
You end up dating somebody,
Whatever's going to happen is going to happen
Exactly.
in life, right? And
Well, good.
you learn to be more comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
You really have to.
Yeah.
That's the most attractive
yeah.
quality, because
I think so,
being
too.
insecure is not
Oh,
attractive
not at all.
on either side.
No.
I agree.
This became a dating show real fast.
It sure did.
And where's the phone? It's
I know, right? Like, where's the call in now?
I don't know. Do we have anything else to cover? I think we covered quite a bit today. I think this was
This is fun.
this
this
is
was
awesome.
fun.
I know. So,
I like this.
you're thinking about getting your podcast back up? Are you doing
I
it?
am. Jack's going to help me a little bit
Okay.
here. Yeah, and I've had more people reach out. If you do that, I want to do one. I did
What's
a
the podcast called?
Yeah,
I did a podcast called Food Confessions, and I would interview people. We did 6 of them. Like,
You're going to have Hannah and I on your podcast?
Absolutely.
Hope we're on.
it's just all about
Food. I hope.
all about food. But at
Can
the
we
end of the
eat
day,
food
the main,
while we're
How would
Oh,
you
I
like
always
it?
have
Dream.
food. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
But
my
the
gosh.
main question of the day was, what is your food guilty pleasure? When you're home alone, what is the deep down secret that you eat that you don't want anybody to know?
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Kraft macaroni and cheese. Kraft macaroni and cheese. We're not
It
kidding.
is funny because I have some high-end friends, chefs that are good friends of mine, and you think these guys, they love like Big Macs,
Yeah.
that's their guilty pleasure, is driving through, late at night with their hats down, so
yeah.
nobody knows
Yep.
that,
We're allowed those.
It's
So it's not
funny.
just home. It's not just food. It's like your fast food. Like, what's your food guilty pleasure? Anything.
I had,
All right,
I think
what's
Brian
yours?
Ward a lot. Mine is potato chips. I can't quit. Potato chips are
What
guilty
brand,
pleasure.
though? That's
kind,
the
what
key.
brand?
That's
I
the
doesn't
key.
matter. I could care
Really?
less.
Lay's
I
potato
could eat
or
a
like
1
a
ounce
kettle.
bag or a 20-ounce bag, and I can't.
Do you like
quit.
the Lay's or the Ruffles, though?
Yeah.
I like the plain.
yeah.
I don't like a ruffle.
Yeah?
What about a
I'll eat 'em.
Lay's
Believe
or
me,
a
I'll eat 'em
kettle?
if I'm dipping
Very
them, because
different.
they hold a lot more.
Exactly.
dip.
That's the only way we do
Lay's
it.
or kettle, though, because like a kettle cooks like a thick
They
homemade
both
chip.
have their qualities,
Yeah, they do.
It's
They're
like,
very different.
It's like vanilla or chocolate.
I'm
You
gonna
can't
weigh
both,
in here.
Yeah.
If they're plain, it's got to be Lay's. If it's flavored, it's kettle, like barbecue or jalapeno.
Oh.
Really?
But the regular kettle ain't
You're
not as good
saying
as the
that
old
sour
Lay's.
cream and onion, you'd rather do that on a kettle chip than a Lay's that melts in your mouth?
I don't think I've ever seen sour cream and onion.
I'm sorry,
kettle.
what?
Kettle sour cream
Oh,
and
but
onion.
flavor. You said flavor, and I'm thinking.
I'm talking
Lay.
like usually there's like barbecue and salt, like the
I get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was a
My guilty pleasure, which only happens on hangover days, which turns out since I've been
which she has to call me to.
I have
she has
to get
call
validation.
me. And
It's a double cheeseburger and a small fry. Just
There you
some
go.
salt. Dump
Right.
one of those packets of salt on it.
Oh, there you go.
And
See?
a side of sweet and sour sauce that I dip the fries in, and I'm just like in the parking lot, hoping no one sees me. And I'm just, and then I'm instantly cured. And here's the
See?
thing with the
She is.
hangover: it's not because I overconsumed; it's because
Oh, whatever.
It's because perimenopause. I can't handle my alcohol like I used to. That's nothing. But seriously, I'll wake up and I'm like, I'm hung. Nancy, how many times have I had a double cheeseburger
She will
this
call
year
me
alone?
and try to.
Than the
she
time
wants
we've known
me
each
to
other.
say yes. You should go get a double cheeseburger. And
I'm
I always
hoping
do.
she says she had a Big Mac the day
Somebody's gotta
before.
validate it,
I said,
right?
just do it. Who cares? And
Well-
then you'll feel better.
And I do feel better.
Yeah,
That's the
right.
problem. So
There's
anyway.
something about the grease when you're hungover too.
It fixes
Exactly.
everything.
Bacon and eggs. Oh God.
All right, you guys,
Yeah.
we're gonna
This was
definitely
fun.
do this again.
Oh, you.
I know. I
we are
hope Frank's
definitely
going to
doing
come
this
back
again.
because it's kind of might feel like a waste of his
think-
time, but it's fun for us.
I think we've turned a corner because it's usually just been me and Hannah, and then our friend Jean Jack.
Oh, unique.
Yeah.
But I love guests.
This is
but
fun.
I do want to, even though we've plugged Frank and his Frank's Italian sandwich, the Italian beef in Peoria Heights, I also, of course, want to plug Jack. If you're going to book a wedding, please
or anything else that
request-
requires an MC,
Yeah.
DJ, like it doesn't have to be just a wedding.
It's completewedo.com,
That's probably where he makes all his money,
correct?
right?
Yeah.
And you have to request
Unions, all.
John
Anything,
Riley.
yeah.
So you have to request John Riley, like special
Conference,
anniversaries,
reunion.
anything. Just
Yeah.
Good stuff.
completewedo.com. Ask for John Riley.
And Frank's does the cater.
And then
You bet.
Frank's.
Oh my gosh.
we got
This-
this going on.
There you go.
Anyway.
And you'll get your 10% commission. There you go.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody
Thank
for
you,
listening. This
everyone.
was really fun.
And I
And
had a
please,
ball.
have a great day. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.